Welcome to In a Heartbeat. I'm Liz Aiken. This is WMTV. You know, this studio comes out of the wonderful Grosse Pointe War Memorial. We tape in Grosse Pointe Farms, Michigan. My guests today are a couple who, actually one I've known for, I should say decades, but yeah, that's the truth, decades. And actually his wife I also knew, but didn't even know they were connected. That's another story. And the story that they have to relate to all of us is so cool and so inspiring and so healthy that I thought, you know what, this is a perfect couple to bring on the show. Learn what they have to say. You're going to hear names of other people I know you know. Actually names of people whom I've interviewed on the show before. And I'm more than delighted to have Peter Woodstock, Pete.
Hi, Liz.
Hi.
Great to see you again.
Woodstock.
Hi, Liz.
This is so fun. Okay, so let me just set this up here. I have a very good friend, Judy Barrett Vince, whom I've known since high school, as I have known Pete. And I was following Judy on Facebook. We were writing back and forth about some stuff, and then a site popped up, and it was Pete Woodstock on a surfboard in the lake, right here, right out here. And I thought, you know, this is intriguing. I haven't seen Pete in many years. And so I started the connection with him. Then on his site, I saw a picture of this woman, and I knew, this is going to sound weird, I know, but this is the way it is. I saw this woman's face, and I knew instantly, for some reason, I really liked her. It was somebody I had laughed with, but I had no idea where, how, or what. Because what I didn't know was that Nancy's last name was Woodstock. She was working at a shop in Grosse Pointe. And when I said to Peter, I know this sounds weird, but what's the deal here? And he said, she's my wife. Well, after a lot of laughter, I thought, this is so cool.
It was cool.
Isn't it really?
Yes.
It's so fun. So then, in the course of following the Facebook, information came out. You were talking about your cancer diagnosis.
Maybe you'd seen a purple picture, which was popular last year. Cancer survivors were putting a purple screen over their faces.
You know,
Remember
I
that?
did.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I did see that. But I saw this story in the pictures, and I thought, besides, I was already intrigued with the windsurfing photos.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, you know what, this is so fun. We had been talking, then I thought, you have a story to tell. So your background is really nutritional. You have, since you were a teenager, been intrigued and fascinated.
Yeah, just having my own health problems and having my family members older than me have health problems. We had books in the house, so I became interested in reading those as a teen. And so I've always been interested in nutrition and healthy eating and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you are an artist,
Yes.
painter. Your work is on Facebook. And let me see for a second right now, actually. Go to Facebook. You can write in his name, Peter Woodstock. Let's see, I want to call you Woodstock all the time. I don't know why.
That little concert in upstate New York.
I think there's something to do
I
with
thought that was his last name until our third date, actually.
Really?
Right.
So cool.
Always correcting me.
All right, so let's clarify this. Peter Woodstock, Wittstock, on Facebook and also on LinkedIn. And through the conduits, you will get to his page of his artwork. And the painting that you have done, really, Tri-County, all over, doing faux painting, incredible, like freestyle painting in homes, but on canvases. You're prolific.
Well, both.
Yeah, both.
The last 22 years has been mostly in residential settings, doing high-end decorative painting.
But then on the side, you decided you wanted to try something in the water. And in high school, you were the tennis star. So I knew you were athletic anyway.
Yes.
But then you started windsurfing, or
I just-
paddleboarding first.
Paddleboarding first. Well, first, surfboards. I saw the
Real surfboards.
a
Like,
real surfboard. I realized that on eBay I could purchase my own surfboard.
This is so
They were on sale out in California and Hawaii and Australia, and bring it right here to Detroit and actually look at it and see what it was.
it wasn't
So
the
I-
ironing board on
I
the
brought
bed, as
in
I
a
said.
surfboard, a vintage surfboard from the 60s from California,
You did
to just
not.
paddle on my stomach on the
Yeah.
Lake St. Clair to lose a few pounds in the summer as an over 60 guy. So that it started with just a surfboard,
Just that.
but then the stand-up paddling craze began, and you were seeing more and more surfboards
Yeah.
here in the Grosse Pointe area and elsewhere, as people would just stand up and then
And
paddle.
paddle.
And
I
so I
think
did
that
a
is
little bit
very
of that,
difficult.
and then friends who would see me paddling on my stomach out in the water along the Grosse Pointe shoreline would say, you know, you really
There's a
need to put a
shark."
sail on that and go a little
Please,
faster.
come on, yeah. Come on, give
So
me this picture
I
there.
knew I was looking at a purchase, and when I found a windsurfing package for sale, I realized that, gee, maybe I can kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
I can learn to windsurf and stand up paddle on it both. And
Yeah,
so
right.
my equipment was to do both, but
So you
the
couldn't just
windsurfing
like,
won out.
you couldn't just like drill a hole in that vintage 1960.
Well,
no,
no, can't do
makes it
that.
better ironing
Yeah,
board
right.
than. Okay, so now you are doing this, and you're out one day, windsurfing. And
4
you-
summers ago.
4 summers ago, and you came back in, and somebody said what to you?
Well, somebody said you have a bump on your back, and I had never noticed it. But looking in my car window, I could see the reflection of about a quarter size, a little bump, raised area. It was like a cushion. And I didn't remember falling on my equipment or hurting myself out
Right.
in the water,
Right.
and it didn't hurt. But that was the first sign of
And that was
what
like
eventually I would discover was cancer.
And it was September?
That
was
was
like
in
the end
September,
of this?
yeah.
2011.
And I continued on through the fall, and it wasn't until Thanksgiving that I was having difficulty breathing and went in to see a doctor at that point.
So what
But
did
that
you
was
think?
late November.
So it was this stuff that is, it's like unobtrusive, it's, so benign, you can't tell what's happening until,
Right, just a little
Okay.
difficulty breathing, going up and down stairs, sleeping, but nothing too obtrusive or that chased me into the doctor.
right. So then you went in, and then what happened?
Well, he checked me over, listened to me with a stethoscope front and back, thought I sounded good, was praising me for having lost like 15, 20 pounds out on the water over the summer.
Right.
I thought I was in great shape and was about to let me go home without doing anything more, but said, maybe we'll just have send you over for a chest x-ray too. And that was on a Friday, and Monday morning he called me at home to say that I should come in, that he had something to tell me regarding the chest x-ray results. And so that's what...
I have to say, from the standpoint of hearing, working in the hospital, people that have diagnoses and what happened, along the way, that I personally have to say it was very smooth for him to just say, oh, let's just grab an x-ray, without saying, ooh, something's up, and then you literally go through a weekend and you die 1,000 times in the process.
Yeah.
So whether there was specifically something, but enough to warrant an x-ray. So I
Apparently,
say
yeah.
cheers to him for having a very smooth delivery on that. So then, so Monday comes. Where are you on Monday? You're at work.
I'm at work,
You're at work.
and I came home from work, and I walked into the kitchen, and he looked a little more dressed up than usual. And so I thought, he's been somewhere.
Yeah, what's up with this?
And he said he'd been called into the doctor because of the x-ray, and that they saw a 4-inch tumor on his lung near his carotid artery. And so we just stood there staring at each other, and immediately I'm thinking, well, how could he have lung cancer? He's never
He's so
smoked.
fit. Yeah, right.
And then I thought,
Environmental. Yeah, there you
paint
go.
fumes.
Yeah.
I thought, that's
Because
it.
of painting.
It's paint fumes. And yeah, you don't know what to think. So we're thinking lung cancer, and this was just days before Thanksgiving.
Literally
Yeah.
3 days.
And the doctor wanted him to go into the hospital that day. And
That's what they do.
Yeah, and he said, no, my son's coming home from college for
We have a
Thanksgiving in 2
Thanksgiving
days.
meal.
So I really, I have more important things to do.
Yeah, right. He goes, I don't think so.
And so, the doctor gave him his personal cell phone number, and he said if you spike a fever or have any unusual symptoms, yeah. And so that was a little sobering. You know, but he managed to get through another week and spend time with our son and family for
Right.
Thanksgiving.
That was nice.
But
So, so Pete, when you were in the doctor's office and he first said the words to you, what went through your mind? And it probably was like lightning
Well, I was
speed.
sitting on the examining table, and he was in front of me and said, "You have cancer." And I don't know, I was just sort of dumbfounded. Because I had never imagined that I'd be a candidate for cancer, that it could ever happen to me. I'd always
Right.
been healthy
And very active.
and active. And I think my words to him were, well, if that's the case, at least I'm ready to go. And I
he
sort of
didn't care
laughed.
if we were ready for him to go, but yes.
Hold on a minute.
Because we think of cancer, of course, as terminal in so many cases.
Yeah, a lot.
Um,
But you really didn't think overall that this was a catastrophic. It was going to have a catastrophic end. It didn't.
I did not, no.
Which is, I love that. I mean, you just move on. Do
It
it,
was
take care
going
of
to
it,
be
get
one
on.
little health glitch that
Yeah,
would be
right.
short-lived, and I would pass through
Right,
and come out the other side.
which you have. But in the meantime, there's this whole story going on.
Yes.
So you go in and you talk to them, confer with them, and figure out what your options are, and get into a round of chemo, which,
Well, they had to go-
was cool because you had your own feed, or info to feed to him too, to say, what do you think, to the guy, the oncologist.
Well, it was the biopsy first, the draining of the lungs, because that was the problem with the breathing. I had 4
Yeah.
liters of dead white blood cells on my lungs.
Holy cow.
So those initial steps of biopsy, draining the fluid off my lungs, which occurred twice within a 3-week period, and their diagnosis with the biopsy that it was a cancerous and malignant situation. Mantle cell lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's type is what I had.
Mantle cell.
It's a
Seriously, I've
rare
never heard of
cancer
that.
of the white
Very
blood
rare.
cells. Yeah, in the leukemia family, I think.
Right, exactly. So you had, at least having the liters of fluid drained gave you back lung power, so you weren't
Yes.
as short of it. Though going for the second one, you knew that it was likely to.
But in a 3-week
Occur.
period of time, to the 21st of December, we took off another 3 liters, and I was awake for that one. I was watching them put the
Yeah, isn't it cool?
the pop bottles up
It
on
is,
the.
it's cool.
Yeah.
So pathetic to say, but it
Yeah,
is
I
just
know.
So that's
interesting.
pretty startling to see that this condition is so rampant and strong within you, trying to kill you really,
Trying to kill you.
that you see now the urgency for all of that's taking place and the need to cooperate with the program. And
The odd thing is, good or bad or whatever, is that because you're very tall, as you said, and you have you're
Long
a
lungs.
long person, you have a long torso, you have a lot of lung space. So, and as the fluid came, your body, because it was fit otherwise, could adapt, good or bad.
yeah,
It was
I think that was
maybe-
part of my problem, not problem, but part of my
Like the delay or
slowness
something? Yeah.
going in. Yeah, my doctor had said, well, if you'd been a normal person, you would have been in
Normal.
here
As you laugh.
Like me.
in August. You would have been here in August,
Right,
because this
right.
would have been affecting you earlier
Yeah,
and debilitating you earlier.
amazing.
So,
All right, so you headed into chemo, and before you do that, before we go there, I want to just say, if you're just tuning in, I am Liz Aiken, WMTV in a Heartbeat. I'm speaking with Nancy and Peter Woodstock, and we're talking about mantle cell lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and we've set the stage now, and now we're going to go into the actual treatment, which
Yes.
is something else.
yeah, I finally made it into the hospital, and 2 days after Christmas, December the 27th, 2011, I began chemotherapy
2
at
days
St.
after
John's
Christmas.
Hospital. And it was an aggressive type of chemotherapy for which I was in the hospital for a 6-day period each time, and the plan was to go 8 cycles in the hospital for 6 days, home for 3 weeks recovering, back in the hospital for 6 days with a chemo drip. I had a Metaport in my upper right shoulder, chemo drip around the clock for those 6 days, and then back home recovering. So that began 2 days after Christmas on December 27th of 2011.
And in the process of your being in the hospital, you literally created your own track field. This is like Grosse Pointe South all over again. You know, really. But that was, I mean, how healthy
Well,
can that
6
be
North.
to keep moving?
6 North at St. John's is a long rectangular corridor.
Yes, I know, yeah.
And so that's where you meet all of your fellow
I know
cancer and
it.
hospice patients
Yeah,
who are out there pushing their IV poles and trying
Right.
to track some laps.
Yeah, Trace and Labs. Very good. So you got up to May in the process of doing your
5
monthly,
cycles.
5
Went through
cycles.
5 cycles.
And in the process of that, you wrote 7 letters, which are incredible.
Yes, I chose a group of family and friends who were close and had decided to communicate with them just because chemotherapy and cancer is such a frightful thing in our society and in the community that going through it, I thought my reflections on the experience might be helpful.
And you know, knowledge replaces fear. If they have an idea of what you're going through, it helps them to see the situation and helps to alleviate some of the fear for them, not for you, but for them. But it's a beautiful connection to them too.
It was.
And putting your thoughts into words.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was. I guess I hadn't really experienced the difficulties of the chemotherapy side effects, one of them being brain fog, brain
Yeah, brain fog.
brain,
right.
brain what is it called? Chemo
It's
brain.
called chemo
Chemo
brain.
brain.
Yeah.
Right, right.
But in that period, I was able to write the letters and stay in contact that way.
So in the process of this too, you also came up with your 3 points of what you see value to pass on. Because that was one thing I said to you when we were at your house, was that what have you learned from this? What have you both experienced from this to hand over to the next person, if it's possible, to anything that can help the next person is, you know, a nugget of gold, literally.
Well, as I, it's 38 days and 31 nights laying in the hospital. You do some
You have time to
thinking, at
wait.
least you have an opportunity to do.
Yeah.
And I kind of boiled it down to 3 things. And number 1 is to be a good patient.
What does that mean?
Cooperate with your doctors and your nurses. Obey instructions, keep appointments, take prescription medication, continue to walk and stretch and exercise if you can. Be thankful and be grateful to those who are trying to help you. Don't complain in the process. That was very helpful, and it kind of produced in my nurses and the people who were helping me a kind of cheerfulness to be with me and to be talking about the
I
subject.
totally understand that.
So be a good patient. Number 2, I guess I would say continue to live. Don't check out. Continue to study the nature of your cancer if you can, and to look at literature about it. Exchange thoughts with your nurses and your doctors on the subject. I wouldn't be afraid to do that.
Right.
Continue to be generous with praise toward people who are in your circle, and consider writing things down about your experience. That's what I did.
And the third one?
And the third one, not only continue to live, but be prepared to die. Because for so many, will be the end. And we're, of
Right,
course, all going to die.
Yeah.
And so it leads us into thinking about our mortality and how to prepare for eternity, this life being shorter and shorter for many of us who are older.
And Nancy, in the meantime, what was your job? And what did you see as your role as best friend and spouse?
Yeah.
What did you do?
I guess just trying to stay positive when I was visiting, talking on the phone with him.
Right.
try to serve him whatever food he was in the mood for
Mm-hmm.
when he was home. It was interesting. I think his first,
The first time.
that first time home from his chemo, he said, "Do we have any broccoli?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "I want a lot of broccoli, and I don't want anything else." And I fixed him like a big soup plate full of steamed broccoli,
Uh-huh.
butter and salt,
salted.
and he was in heaven.
Yeah, I remember. I can still remember
Because-
eating that plate full of broccoli.
Because hospital
Right.
veggies can be a little
Come on now.
They're
we
not that
know.
green.
We know,
Yeah.
we all know.
Less
How
green.
that goes.
less green.
I actually was, is this anemic?
Yeah.
You know, is this broccoli
Yeah.
need something?
And so that was interesting, but I started actually buying like little frozen meals so that no matter what his mood was,
Yeah, you had it. You're covered.
yes, yeah, because it would, his food,
Yeah, I would have specific thoughts about
Right.
what I should or
right,
want to eat.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then along the way, you got to a point that you would have been, we've got about maybe 8 minutes or something. I can't stand it. We need an hour here, but you got it to the point where you were heading towards a stem cell transplant, but you could not physically in your system meet the criteria. So then what did you say to the doctor that you were going to go do? This takes us to a third part.
Well, by May 1st, I was pronounced all clear, no more tumors, of which
Incredible.
there were many in my upper body when we started. All clear by May 1st. And so at that point, the traditional treatment is a bone marrow stem cell transplant. And so St. John's began to transition me down to Carmanos in downtown Detroit. And I met Dr. Joseph Huberti down there, and he began to prep me for a bone marrow stem cell transplant. But both of our attempts were unsuccessful in those first 2 weeks in May of 2012. And so it was at that point,
I love this.
people were a little bit at a loss as to what to
What
do
to do.
next. And so I suggested that maybe I would
Pete.
be allowed to resume my windsurfing activities at the beach.
Why not?
And carry on my recovery there. And so that,
Great. And you're probably looking at it like, what?
Well,
Okay.
actually, that was less scary to me than the,
Yes,
they were
yeah.
talking about the odds of surviving a stem cell transplant, which didn't sound great to me. And because the doctor couldn't tell him, the doctor didn't want to say do it or don't do it. He kind of left it up to him. And
Right,
so we
right.
both kind of thought, well, since you feel good now,
Do it.
and maybe we should just take a break from it all.
And it was perfect timing actually that you had this summer,
Mm-hmm.
the whole summer.
Yeah.
yes.
So you went back down to the water. So this is where I call you Waterman. So you started, now we have some photos that we're going to run and talk about. We've got about 12 photos of you out in the lake, and we've got about 3 minutes to cover this. And then we got to say what the outcome of that one is.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I had many of the traditional side effects of chemotherapy because I'd gone through a strong course of it, even though it was 5 of a planned 8 cycles. I had neuropathy in my hands, fingers, feet, and toes, this severe sensitivity.
Yeah.
I had chemo brain. I was foggy mentally and not too sharp and moving slowly, fatigue. And so I thought that being out on the board and having to stand and to keep my balance and to exercise my hands holding the boom and
keep
my
a
feet
focus.
on the
A
board
focus
and
for your brain.
and not be out in the sun, that all of that would serve a recovery, a good recovery.
So here
So-
you're a surfer guy.
And so I'd go out for a while, maybe be tired, come back and lay in the sun, have something to eat.
Vitamin D
Isn't
is
that
good
great?
for
Vitamin D. So then that's why I caught up with you on Facebook through
Yeah.
Judy Barrett, because they're Judy Barrett fans, because there were these incredible shots. So, and they're beautiful, beautiful shots. I'm looking at you, go, and then
Well,
I
I
had
have
not
to
heard
credit-
about the cancer diagnosis before. So then when you told me that, I thought this has to be somebody else because you look
Credit for those
incredible.
photographs. It has to go to a fellow waterman down at Patterson Park and
Yeah,
Grosse
who
Pointe
did
Park, a kayaker. There are all kinds of non-motorized craft water people down there, and this good friend is a kayaker, and he obliged me by taking photographs one day as I
Yeah.
zoomed past his
I
kayak.
asked you who's doing that. I thought, was it you in the back of a boat or
No,
or
I've
whatever?
taken a couple of still shots from the boardwalk, but
As you went by.
yeah.
Okay, so then here's then where it becomes even more of a connection with me, with you, is that then a friend of mine in New York, a producer, Corinna Sager, who's been on the show, emailed me and said, listen, Katja Essen, who's an Oscar-nominated filmmaker, is coming to town to Detroit. She's doing 5 spots in the United States talking about the waterways. She's going to Detroit. And do you have any contacts for her? And we were just going back and forth on email. So I said, here's one, and some other ones. So when she was in Detroit doing her pre-production, she met with you. And the
Yes.
result is when she comes back the end of March, beginning of April to tape this, you're going to be in a documentary.
Well, it is exciting. Her documentary is about a number of 5 rivers around the
Yes.
country, and she's chosen the Detroit River to look at. And I've windsurfed down on the Detroit River off the Belle Isle Beach there. And she seemed to be interested in that.
So what I want to do, I want to give you here's the website. It's Katja Essen, you'll see it on the screen, KatyaEsson.com, KatyaEsson.com. You'll see her list of documentaries, and it's so fun to have her here. The other people I'm putting her in touch with, but you were the guy on the water. I said, you got to see these shots, Katja. So it's going to be fun when she comes back into town.
Yes.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah.
I hope she doesn't want me to go in the water because it's pretty cold in late March,
Maybe go
early
ice
April.
fishing or something.
Ice fishing. You'll be doing dodging
Yeah,
ice
there's still
flows, you know.
ice chunks floating around.
Yeah.
out
Yeah, that's
there.
right. That's exactly right. All right, we have 30 seconds. Anything you want to add? Closing.
Anything you want to add? I'm just very grateful to still have him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was quite an experience.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess we're not always sure why we go through things like this that are so
Exactly.
off
so.
the charts in terms of expectation.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that some of what I learned can be helpful to somebody.
I
and
know it is. I'm sure it is.
maybe provide some pointers as to how to go through the experience.
Excellent. And we'll see you in the water, and we'll see you in the movies. I'll see you in
At the
Tribeca
movies.
Film Festival. You know?
Cool.
It'll be so cool. Thank you so much, Nancy
You,
Wista.
Liz. So
It's
good
brilliant.
to see you again.
Thank you, Liz.
Pete, what a treat. This is so fun.
It is.
Such
Thank you.
so fun. Just the connections back and forth and Facebook have been so funny between the three of us.
Yes.
They have.
And then to sit with you the other day at home was so cool.
Yes.
It's great to have
I'm
you.
beholden. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Yes. So you know what? Be smart. Know what you're doing. Be a patient advocate. Be grateful for everything good that does happen. Get out there and keep moving. Continue living. All right. You know how important this is to them. You know what Pete and Nancy think. So what I want to know is truly, what do you think?